Hey everybody, I'm just going to double check if I'm live. How are you guys? Welcome and welcome to Experts in Demand. Hey to everybody who I haven't had a chance to say hi to. Feels like it's been a while, but yeah, I had a really great chat with another startup today, who's launching their company, and it's so great that I had to come on and it was such a great convo in terms of positioning this company to have success out of the gate. And all the questions I was asking them are not only things they hadn't considered or just, were wondering about, but also questions that maybe hadn't been asked. So it was really important for me to get through to this particular company and this particular, founder of what he's going to be facing when he gets out of the gates. And very competitive space. And I thought this is just a great example of the conversations I have all the time with you guys here, or whoever takes advantage of the book a call link below, because I guarantee you're going to be asked something that you may not have yet in your business. So I get it. Like, it takes a little bit of awareness. And if you are debating whether to book a call link and you're nervous or you're scared, I mean, that's one thing. Just kind of get over it, because it's always nice to just have an open, honest conversation with no commitment or no expectations. The second thing is, I do understand that requires a little bit of confidence in terms of what you want to do with your business. When you book a call with an expert like this, when you're given a chance to book a free call with me or anybody else, you want to make sure you have some good questions. And the thing I want you to be sure of is you don't have to have great questions in order to talk to me or to talk to an expert. That's the expert's job, is to ask you the questions. And that's what this call was about. So you don't really have to be, on your best game. I think you just have to come with an open mind, which is what this gentleman did. And the topic, I guess, of the live today, and I'll only go for about 15 minutes or so, but is more in terms of I needed to kind of make it clear to him that just because he was starting the business, or just because the launch was happening, doesn't mean that it's going to be interesting. Okay, it is interesting to him, and it is interesting to you. Your business is interesting to you because you know the results. Yeah, you came up with the idea because you were excited about it, and the prospect of helping somebody, or the prospect of getting a product into people's hands, is so exciting, and you normally put so much thought into it before you ever step out anywhere. And so many years have gone on that you two things happen. Number one, you're excited that it sounds amazing to you, that you might have a little tunnel vision going on. And number two, you kind of want to protect yourself. You don't want anyone telling you that this isn't going to work. Like, I get it, but I would much, much, much rather someone tell me that in the beginning, right? Before you invest all this time, money, energy, and effort on things and resources and team members you don't need, versus getting into the thing, getting on the other side of the wall and going, oh, this is what it's like out here. So this idea in the conversation with this gentleman was great. And I think that was why it was so beneficial, is I was just able to kind of go, okay, it's definitely interesting, but that's not the goal. And I'm just translating the conversation for you guys in terms of consultants and going out there and being coaches, stepping out on a stage and being a speaker. You need that, in order to be called back, in order to be invited again, in order to take the most advantage of your launch, and in your case, your speaking opportunities, your keynotes, your book launches, your course creation, whatever you're stepping in the world as an expert for, and to make the most of it. You kind of treat that interesting. Ain't gonna buy you a lot of time. Okay, interesting is not going to buy you longevity in this game. COVID and all the online space right now, what's happening, has been proving this over and over and over, along with people's attention spans, which I talk to a lot. So what are some ways you're like, well, how do I combat it? How do I talk about myself then? If I think I'm interesting, what kind of things do people need to be hearing? And I'm here to give you 3 questions today that I want you to answer that you can take to the bank, and we're going to chat through just really quick. And I can give you those as tools right now, even if you want to apply them this week in your marketing. So a lot of the time when we sit down to go, okay, what am I all about? What is this whole, how do I talk about myself if I'm going to be setting myself apart as an expert? Your goal here, as you know, is to learn this art of self-packaging. You need to package yourself in a way that's going to make you more in demand. So I took a couple questions that people normally ask themselves, and I just turned it into, I just flipped the questions a bit. So normally when you sit down to market, talk about yourself or set yourself up for an interview or a gig or some type of more lucrative opportunity, you start with what's great about me. And that's fair because people will ask you that. I'm not saying people don't ask questions this way. I'm saying you got to just answer them differently as if they asked you something else. Okay? When people ask you, what's so great about you? Tell me about yourself. What's your bio or whatever like that? When you start to come in with like, well, wow, what am I saying about myself? I want you instead to ask, why am I ideally suited for this? So when you get asked, what's great about, when you think, well, what's great about me? Okay. How do I say that? Just answer, why am I ideally suited for this? Start there, right? Start with the why you even got here, And that's where you're going to find these little nuggets of passion. And it immediately not only sets you apart, but it gets people's attention. That's question number 1. Question number 2, people often start with in their marketing is, what do you do? Okay. What do I do? So you're sitting there and you've been either asked that directly, or you've been asked that in a chat, or you asked that on an application form of something. What do you do? Tell me about, what do I do? Well, how about this? Instead of that, every time you get asked that question, ask, how does this give people the outcome they need? How do I give people the outcome they need? So again, if the question is, well, what do I do? If you're in, finance as well, I'm a financial analyst, or I'm a wealth creation analyst, or whatever. You're going to answer that instead of, how does this give people the outcome they need? What do you do? Well, I actually take a look at people's, retirement plans, and I sit down and help them create wealth from 3 other areas in their life, or something like that. Like how does it give people the outcome they need? See how you're not giving them the whole recipe. What you're giving them is like intrigue. It's just a little different way of telling people, how do I do? And it's like one little baby step that I can give you to set yourself on that path of starting to talk like an expert, starting to talk and behave and package yourself for more lucrative and in-demand opportunities. Okay. The 3rd question is, how are you different? This is great. You love that one, right? How are you different? You sit there, the sweats start to come. You're like, oh my God. Oh, I knew this question was coming and I never know how to answer it. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you the new question. If someone asks, like, how are you different? I want you to ask instead, immediately in your brain, start to say, what has the last year taught me that my customer needs? So when people say, how are you different? You're going to answer this question instead. What has the last year taught me that my customer needs? They don't need to hear the question. You just roll into your question. It's called controlling the interview. When I used to train for media training, it's answer the question you wanted to be asked rather than the one you were asked. Yeah, it's a little politician's tactic. And that's what I want you to answer. So if people are asking you, or have, that's the way you got to start thinking. So those are the 3 questions. And the last one I'll give you again is, when they say, how are you different? I want you instead to say, what has the last year taught me that my customer needs? And that might sound like something, I'm literally pulling this out of nowhere. If it's, I don't know, we're going with the wealth, the retirement. Let's say you create wealth in people's retirement. I don't know. And I don't know how you do that, but how am I different? It's like, if you're used to answering that way and like, oh, well, I bring a really one-on-one customer service approach and I sit down. Okay, that's like a benefit, but how are you different? Well, let me tell you how I'm different. I have seen, more people come out of retirement in the last year than I have in all my career doing this. And what I've noticed is they go back to their old habits of how things worked. I help them update their habits so that any new venture they approach now, they're going to be getting more wealth and more money out of today. Whoa, okay, that's different. Like, do you understand that? I hope that paints a little picture of like, it actually answered the question, how was the last year taught that person what the customer needs? She or he, in that example, went immediately to something completely amazing and different. So what that does, it gives interviewers, it gives panelists, moderators, it gives them a place to jump off of. Like, you want to give your interviewers and you want to make them look good. And really you want to set them up for good questions. And actually that's probably another live I'll do soon, is like how to make the outlet look great. I think that's a really actually important one I'll probably write down. Because we miss these little things. So I really hope that you loved that, because that I find is really, I'm going to put it in the description. And I'm also just going to, I'm always putting my, I know I'm taking a while to do this. I always like to put the book-call link in here. Right now, you can book a call at this link. And I'm also going to give you guys my free webinar. Hey, if you're new in this group and you haven't tuned into that free webinar, it's 2.0. I usually have another one last year. I updated that whole thing. So there's a whole other kind of 5 shifts in there that are a little bit different. And it really narrows in on what is the one thing that is going to allow you to package yourself and how you can learn that art of expert packaging, which is really an art. It doesn't take as much as you'd think. However, it takes some real tough questions to be answered first. So my webinar is actually a great first step for that. So if you haven't tuned in a while, or if you haven't watched that, that is in the description in the About Us. And it's also, I will put it in the chat, like I'll put a couple comments below. So yeah, those 3 questions, I loved bringing those to you today. It was totally relevant based on the calls I've been having and the mentor call I had today. And hope that was really helpful. And I'm excited to keep bringing you guys this stuff as I can in this group. Share it with others, and I'll try to get on some other channels so that you have an easier time sharing these things. I also have a YouTube channel, and we catch up with all of the stuff and all the videos, the education videos I did last year. So that's like a free mini webinar or a podcast. You can listen to all those on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much again, and I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Enjoy the sunshine. Oh my gosh, our prayers are finally answered for this weather. So yeah, get out there and enjoy it, okay? We'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.